Welcome back. 2023 NXL Sunshine State Major. Impact about to take on the Brooklyn Bears, and Legion taking on Infamous. This is a big set with Sunday implications. I'm Eddie Marshall. I got Carl Markowski from Columbus Level here to help me call this set. Carl, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's beautiful weather. It's warm, so warm paintball is always great. But yeah, it's some pretty intense paintball happening right now.
Body dropping early here for Impact from the D side, and the chaos going down in the center as Sakaguchi comes through with Derula, and both those bodies come off. So two players have dropped for Impact. They're down to 3, and the Brooklyn Bears 4. So it's a 4-on-3 situation here in favor of the Bears. Neither team really controlling much real estate right now. Brooklyn Bears going to reposition a little bit on the Snake side, and then here comes Justin Cornell trying to make a move into Snake 1.
It's a lot of action early on of people trying to make a lot of big moves in real estate, get up in the middle, get to these bigger bricks, and then just gunfights galore and waiting for people to fill gaps after that. It's pretty exciting paintball. I mean, it's give or take, but it's been playing out pretty cool.
Yeah, some tactical paintball happening here with some of these longer points, and looks like the Bears going to be dropping a body here from the Snake side. Justin Cornell trying to make something happen.
3-on-3, I believe.
Yeah, 3-on-3. Yeah, I think so. Where's the back center? Back center for Impact. Oh, comes up and gets the drop in on that inside shot. Justin Cornell, and then Brooklyn Bears going to commit on the run through. Comes out and takes out JC.
That's a huge move for JC, taking out those 2 players.
So now 2 players left alive as they spread the field here at simultaneously for Edmonton Impact, going to both back spots on both sides. Looking at just, I think, 1 body left alive here. Carl, back corner bunker for sure.
Yep,
for the Bears.
Like a Reeser too for Impact's now starting to slowly walk down to the Snake side.
So that should do it. So making quick work of that last body after a bunch of chaos, and that's kind of what we've been seeing, Carl, is that the game is really kind of decided by, one, obviously how many bodies you keep alive, but who's going to be prevailing in the battle that goes down in the center and on this Snake side, and then points can be stolen from that D side, depending on, again, how it shakes off, and also depending on who's playing and where. But
yeah, it's very much like a give and take on this Snake side. I mean, you give up a little real estate, then you got to counter. You got to get up there, you got to make a move, especially with how many quick jumps there are on the Snake side. You really have to keep an eye on these gaps, because even guys, just being one player over here on the Snake side, he has so many different options on where he can go and where he can get kills from, that it's it's such a key side of the field right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is interesting, though, because defense typically doesn't work on paintball fields, but we saw Tampa Bay Damage win their last game against Aftermath, though, multiple points. I mean, it was only 3 points scored, but 2 times Aftermath had 3 bodies at the 50, and even up bodies couldn't find a way to break into that line.
Mm-hmm.
So this is that type of field. I mean, it is, again, a little bit more of a slower developing field. We're seeing longer average points is now point number 1 between Infamous and Legion. And it looks like 2 bodies dropping early for Legion, so great off-the-break shots for Los Angeles Infamous, giving themselves a big 5-on-3 advantage here in this first point. Barrett's going to get for Infamous into that wedge. Malloy was great there yesterday. I mean, it was one of those situations, Carl, where I'm like, well, they might as well let them just start in that position because no one is able to shoot at him getting there. No, a little penalty assessed here on maybe I think Kirill Peridny. That's going to pull out Karslev. And, oh, no, actually it's going to pull out Malloy. I think Karslev might have caught one from the D side earlier. So, yeah, Infamous, Carl, here making quick work of the line for Legion.
That is, if they can all go that way, great.
Yeah, that's when you draw it up in the game plans in the meetings at night, that's what you hope it looks like, but not always. So there's Sam Silberg here on your screen with the new pickup for Los Angeles Infamous, coming over from a team that Carl's on currently here, Columbus Level.
Good dude, good player, awesome player, great dude, ton of potential, man. It's, everybody wants to progress their game, whether it be with the team they are currently or with another, very successful organization. And, I didn't have any bad feelings with him taking off and leaving. You got to take advantage of opportunity, and I'm just glad to see him out there playing paintball.
Yeah, he's definitely proved himself the past couple seasons as a big...
You owe me $50, Sam.
Yeah, so...
Great player, though.
Yeah, he's... I don't know him. I don't presume to know him well, but he's been, very nice, and he's a hell of a paintball player, so...
Yeah.
That's going to be a big pickup potentially for Infamous. That's always the cool thing. I love the first events, Carl. I love coming to the first events and seeing how all the stories are going to play out. Obviously, I love watching paintball, but with all the chaos that always happens in the offseason. Point number 2 right now, Brooklyn Bears down by 1 against Edmonton Impact. And diving here into the snake. Ooh, losing a body, though. Brooklyn Bears losing a body from that center.
I believe it's 5-on-4 right now in Impact's favor. It's pretty well matched up as far as positioning on the field. Maddie, man, it looked like that Bears player who's in the God right now, that bunker before the snake, it looked like he got hit in the pod when he got in, but
maybe the ref didn't see it.
So much spray.
Yeah, there's a lot, because some of these points are going longer and people shooting a lot of paintballs at each other. People are catching a decent amount of spray. I've also seen multiple times this weekend where a ball will hit someone and it breaks, but it doesn't leave any paint, and no ref saw it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if ref sees that, you're out. But if ref doesn't see that and there's no paint there, hey, man, the paintball god shined upon you that day.
Yep.
And it's just funny when sometimes people complain about that. I'm like, I don't know, dude. Sounds like you're playing paintball. You know?
Yeah.
Welcome to the chaos, bro.
Yeah.
2 bodies coming off right now. 3 here, real quick for the Bears. So again, Impact strikes quickly.
It was that pressure on the D side coming from Dalton, really being able to push through those gaps and recognize when guys aren't shooting those lanes. And I mean, that's Dalton's job, right? I mean, he's been playing this game for a long time, and being able to recognize when somebody's dropped a lane or when you can shoot somebody in and wrap and go. And I mean, the D side is pretty straightforward, but if you can make moves on that side, it's not always this snake side that's going to be that push side.
Yeah, it was interesting though, because the teams only had 1 weekend of practice on it. So when I'm talking to people last week after those practice sessions from the previous weekend, and then on Thursday, asking D-side players, coaches, whatever, just everyone essentially, hey, how's the field playing? How's the D-side? Where's the strong side? What's going on? How are the bounce shots? Do my homework. The D-side players all really liked that side, but as it's developed, it's really become more focused on snake side center, and all the snake players are like, yeah, I mean, it's a little crazy over there. I don't dislike it, but it's gonna be a task.
Yeah.
Whereas the D side players are like, yeah, man, love this side. It's all heads up, standard D side, but
so fun.
But it's become. Yeah, you can. I think you got it. Look, steal points over there, but very few. I'd say like 70-30. It's more 70 middle snake side and 30% on that D side. But what's starting to happen? Look at this, Carl. This is a perfect example. Both teams went to D3 off the break. Infamous losing a body, Legion able to stay alive. But we are starting to notice that teams are taking bigger bites on the break because the guns are shifting more middle and snake side.
Yeah.
So now are the guns going to shift back towards the D side? Well, we'll see. That is the ebb and flow of the pendulum swinging back and forth with the strategy on the layout like this.
Well, that's what I never really understood. I see a lot of teams not really going. I mean, the shot across field from the can on the Dorito side towards the snake side is heavy. It's good to have. But there's only really one gap that's about a foot wide or so going to the Dorito side, and even going far on the Dorito side. And I always looked at it like, man, there's only so many paintballs going through that gap, and I can make that gap. And if I can make it through that gap, I can go anywhere to those, the 40 spots really on the Dorito side, because there's so much stuff in the middle that blocks everything out.
Yeah. So right now here, as Legion has loaded up with some bodies in the snake and at the brick here on your screen from the blue side. Now we're looking at Infamous trying to protect this 1 point lead, a little bit more defensive. Got Barrett, Cali Rudolph there, just tucked into their spots, trying to stay alive with Jonah Jamrose at the tower. Can't see who that is in D1 for Infamous, but and Infamous again down to 4, so they did drop a body. Yeah, battle going down here on your screen again for Legion. Wrapping around, trying to get productive.
Shoots Cali.
Yeah, wraps around. Good job by Karslev. And so it is Brusselback, Tim Brusselback, only body for Infamous on that D side in D1, and looks like he's squeegeing his gun, so hopefully he can get his weapon up and running.
Looks to be 4-on-3 right now in favor of the Russians.
Yeah, in favor of Legion. McDarby, one of the new pickups here for Legion. It's a rebuild year for Legion. They've had a really tough time getting the paperwork needed to get their what was a stellar starting 5 that was really making a run at trying to win some tournaments. And so they're just having to go back and rebuild with some divisional players. They picked up Harris Hussein. He's only got I think 1 spin out there so far. I think is that Harris over in D2? This might be spin 2 for Harris. Yeah, I think that is Harris Hussein in D2.
He's alive.
He is alive. And Legion is past the 50 on both sides. Here comes Karslev. Karslev trying to come and take out Jamrose, asking for a penalty, and it's going to be a major.
They're starting with 2 bodies.
Yeah, major penalty with 3. Major,
3 bodies.
Yeah, major penalty assessed on, I believe that was on Jonah Jamrose. The ref did not indicate, but he did not pull any players for Legion, so that would mean that it's going to be on Infamous.
Yeah. And the Legion player was really calling for that penalty after he was shot already.
We're in the pits right now with Legion. Yeah, you see a lot of new faces in there. As they don't have their coach. There's Harris Hussein getting a spin, staying alive, and helping out the squad. Yeah, no Jason Burns, no Smotroff here. You know, Jason Burns has been helping out that squad for a long time now as the one of the Americans on that team. They've imported players over the years. Jason actually living over there for a long time, and then Smotroff, you know, a huge weapon there for Legion for, you know, his rise to paintball fame, and he had been over here kind of holding the line while they couldn't get some other guys, but now it's his turn to have to take a seat. So yeah, it's just a bummer because Smotroff is super fun to watch. He's he looks like John Wick out there sometimes.
Yeah, he's got style and attitude. I don't think anybody dropped off the break right now. Pretty well matched up. We have Impact all the way out in the snake corner at the moment, wrapped, containing that tower on the snake side.
Carlos is. I know we got still 11 minutes and 12 seconds left to go, but this is the time for the Bears to answer. You know, they won both their games yesterday. They had a pretty decent spread, but then they dropped their first game to Notorious. Actually, it was the first win for the rookie pro team. And even though Notorious not going to be moving on to Sunday with a 1-3 record, looked really good. Every single one of their games was a 1-point match. So the Bears, if they could put a win on the board here, well, obviously going 3-1, but they have some work to do. Now, Impact also undefeated so far, as they put up a decent amount of points.
The Bears beat us.
Yeah, they went 2-0 yesterday. Yeah, the first win was against the ML Kings, and then had a 1-point win against you guys. It was a pretty close match.
Yeah.
So Impact loading up here, and this is just the standard play. Get a body into the wedge. JC's been relentless getting into Snake 1. He's been handling business over here. Love how Matt Jackson's been playing. So I really like this 3 right here for the lineup that Dave, this specific line. Jarula, Cornell, and then Jackson behind him.
Yeah, and then it's usually Reeser or Zupa or Reeser and Laval.
Yeah, Zupa's had some good points over there on the D side, and I mean Zupa came up as a D side player, but then got the chance to play with Impact and shine, winning an MVP playing the Snake actually for Impact last year, and but yeah, Impact. Yeah, looking like Impact, man.
I mean, when you're top level players like we have on the field, it's you really have to be able to play anywhere on the field and just produce when your name is called, whether it be in the Snake side, Dorito side, up the middle. I mean, you have to be that agile to be able to go out and produce on the field.
It makes you less scoutable, but yeah, versatility is key. We still have some specialists out there. You know, you typically always almost going to see Billy Bernaccia play a Snake, and you still have and that's fine. But the more versatile your guys are, Billy of course could play the D side, and occasionally they're throwing him in the middle a little bit or a stand up. But yeah, Carl, I definitely agree with you. When your name is called, wherever it may be, that's where you got to play.
I can do that.
You can definitely do that.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, I could do that. Sure. D-side, I got you.
That should be your answer every time. Yep. I got it.
So Impact, kind of slow rolling this one, but this is perfect. Impact gets into position, and then now you got to come get them.
No need to do anything right now. I mean, they're up by 2. There's really no incentive besides killing the clock at the moment. The Bears really have to make a move. And I think quicker than not, because the way that these points are playing out, I mean, it could be a quicker point, but most of them have been 2-3 minute points, and those will start to accumulate. And if you start, I mean, even if you just squeak out 1 point, you still have to be able to get a couple quick points to maybe even bring that momentum back to your side of the field.
Bears going to transition Sakaguchi into D2. They still have a body it's kind of backed up off that spot a little bit. It's Jared Sester. He had some really good play out there. Day number 1 for the Brooklyn Bears. Backed up off that spot quite a bit. You can see they're dead center of your screen, really not up near that bunker at all, just to get a better angle on that D side. The issue, though, is that the Brooklyn Bears are the team that's going to need to push forward. Impact doesn't need to push forward. They're just waiting to get a couple kills and then launch their attack.
So this is one thing that has been kind of bugging me is I don't see too many people playing that wedge over there on the D side and shooting the bounce shot off of the wedge inside the snake into the snake one.
Okay.
Because there is a small gap where you can do that. And for me, I mean, because it's so key on players getting in there and then shooting cross, they are exposed. Cornell just got shot. I don't know from the 50 snake guy.
Yeah.
So I would like to see that happen more often because, I mean, you always see that guy in the snake shooting cross. Taking advantage of that shot, maybe.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's having as many options as possible, and bounce shots is key. You're right, though. People are playing. Some players are playing it more than others, but because of the way that the plays have developed, people are kind of leaving that open a little bit. But that's a key guy. If you have a guy in that spot, it's like, oh, you get that bit of communication. You go to that spot, shoot the bounce shot. If it doesn't work, bounce out of there.
Yeah. And from that spot, too, like where the Bears players that play in that wing, you can bounce back and forth between those spots to be able to, like, oh, you're getting shot from there, and they know it. You can just bounce right back over to that wing, play this side.
So Jarula here was thinking that he got a shot in on Caputo. As Caputo in a good spot right now here on the right-hand side of your screen for the Brooklyn Bears.
But here we started this point out at almost, 8:30, and we're already down to 6 minutes. And they're still down by 2. I mean, it's...
Well, if it goes blow for blow, the points can go a little bit faster. But when one team is particularly a seasoned team, it has a body drop. So Sester going to take the walk. Caputo's going to get shot as well, too. Yeah, it's starting to look bad for the Bears here, losing 2 bodies. You don't want to lose deaths in bunches.
And not kill the guy in the middle, too.
No one comes off dead from the other team. Absolutely. That puts Robbie Altimore in a bad spot over here by himself. I think... Yeah, Jackson dug out to the back corner bunker. Jarula with a little tactical retreat to get himself in a little bit more defensive position, got out of that wedge, and then moved back to notch 1 of that structure. Zupa and Reeser still alive, holding strong over there, just holding their lanes. And they're doing their job right now. You know, you go up a couple points on a field like this where you can draw out some points and just burn clock off. Hopefully you win a couple more and make it as easy on yourselves as possible.
Yeah.
And the Bears, we keep seeing this, though. These, again, it happened in the damage game, and yesterday it happened a decent amount, too, is that some of these younger teams can't find a way to break through the cross.
Yeah. But you got to figure it out. I like the aggression of trying to make stuff happen, but in that instance, you have to pull somebody off. I mean, that's such a key kill if you can at least trade out with a guy. It was unfortunate he just wasn't able to trade out with Jarula up the middle. And, yeah, now you got 1 less guy, 2 less guys, and you got to try and still break that cross, and you're down by 2 still. And now you're at, 4:45.
Impact's just playing mistake-free paintball in this game. They lost JC, but other than that, the 4 bodies left alive with Jackson out wide, Jarula, Reeser, and Zupa. Everyone doing great. Just as I say that, though, Reeser looks like getting clipped out from that can, so going to bring it down to a 3-on-3.
Now, there is a bounce shot with where the Bears player is. There is a bounce shot off of that tower into that, and I've seen it multiple times where a player would get in that Dorito, that bounce shot would happen, and it wouldn't be long after that where he'd get shot.
So Zupa there on your screen is the only body on the D side. Frank Antetomaso for Impact. Bears have moved all the way up into D4. Frank Antetomaso is at the 50 brick right in front of Jarula. Jarula has switched his gun. Ooh, Frank's going to make a move. Look at this, Carl. Frank wants to make his move. Oh, he checked off on it for a second. Zupa's looking inside. Jackson's wrapping around, also trying to look inside, but he has to worry about Altimore, who's at the, Robbie's at the stand-up tower. Oh, Frank's going to crawl up. Going to try to pop the top here. He's creeping. He's looking through the crack, trying to see which way Jarula is looking. I mean, he has the easy kill. If he pops up, he's going to destroy Jarula's back.
Yeah.
If he pops up right now, he's going to destroy the back of
here
Matt
we go.
Jarula. He's thinking about it. He wants to do it. Oh, easy little triple trap right there.
Oh, he missed Zupa.
Yeah, Zupa dodged that stream.
And I think he just got shot. No.
Nice kill by Frank, though. Way to be proactive. Oh, and then Zupa's going to get taken out, died the sideline.
Oh, penalty on Zupa.
Yeah, so
Oh my
Sakaguchi
gosh, come
trades
on.
out with Zupa, so Zupa must have come back out to put the shot on GJ, and that draws the minor, pulls out Jackson. Nice job by GJ Sakaguchi, Robbie Altimore, and Frank Antetomaso to pull within one and make this one interesting because so much time had gone off that clock, only 3 minutes left alive. This game's over. If Impact goes up 3-0 with 3 minutes left, good luck, Brooklyn Bears.
Absolutely.
So but now they got a chance.
That was a tough one. Like, the penalty being called on that side, that was tough because it was like it was one of those shots on your loader. There's a certain sweet spot on your loader, on certain loaders too, to where you get shot in it. You really cannot feel it, especially if it's like a quick kind of like interaction.
I agree with you because a lot of guys, some divisional players or fans will be like, they know when they're shot, they know when they're shot. I'm like, not always, man. And you could tell by the body language. Either you're a great actor, but if you played long enough, certain types of pack hits and certain type of loader hits, depending on the loader,
Yeah.
sometimes you can't feel it. Depending on how tunnel visioned are you on the run or on that kill that you're trying to get. So just occasionally that does happen.
Yeah, and on that Spire with having that flat top front, it's like I can see it happening.
Oh, quick
Big
off
move.
the break here. So Legion goes heavy guns. Infamous goes hyper aggressive to dive in to the 50-yard line here. Snake structure inside and makes it clean. So the heavy guns do not produce a kill for Legion. Allows Jonah Jamrose, such a great paintball name, as Jamrose is able to get all the way on their side real quickly. We've only seen this a few times off the break all weekend long. So Infamous trying to break this one open here. 11:18 to go, still a lot of time. But again, we say that, but some of these points, all of a sudden, you'll have a 6-minute point out here, and all of a sudden there's not a lot of time.
Yeah.
Points come at a premium
Krill
on a layout like this.
Yeah. It's so back and forth. I mean, you'll have these minute points or minute and a half points, and then you'll have points. Even like what was it, World Cup last year, where it was like a 1-point game.
Yeah. It was 0-0 going into overtime.
X Factor and Heat.
Yeah.
It's so silly.
Legion going to concede the point here as it was just Karslev, and Karslev in frustration looks over to his pits, but man, they were looking at a ton of bodies as a great play call there by Travis Szymanski and an athletic run by Jonah Jamrose to set the pace and the tempo of that point. And there's Jonah coming in, looking like he's all healed up and healthy. He's been dealing with some injuries past couple seasons, and then Sam Silberg also in there as well too. So just again, a deep roster, and that's the thing with Travis right now is he's trying to. Okay, so they lost Greg Sewers 2 years ago, and then they just lost Harrison Fry. Those were their elite go-to attackers.
And Mikowski.
Yeah, I was getting there, but I was going as like an attacker, right?
Yeah.
So it's who's going to be the next guy up? Is it going to be Jonah?
Right.
Sam? Okay, let's get you on the squad.
Legs.
Obviously, they still got Thomas Taylor. They have a bunch of guys that can play that one position, but who's going to be elite?
Right.
Are you going to be at Greg Sewers' level? Well, if you guys want to win paintball tournaments, somebody's going to need to do it. So
That's not only young and fast,
Yeah.
but also experienced enough to where you can be counted on.
absolutely, but they have some opportunities and some of that talent. And then, yeah, of course, losing a closer like Cody is massive. So now jumping into this next point here, just 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. Can't Impact protect the lead. They get Laval up to the wedge. They do not extend on the Snake side. They give looks like give Axel a spin with Yakimek behind him. So this is the other line.
This is a big point.
Yeah, this is a big point right now for both these squads.
Pretty well matched up on the field right now between the two teams. I think we're 5-on-5 at the moment. Bears going up into the 50 Snake, needing to make something happen. Oh, he misses the shot for Axel going to the corner. Bears working down the field.
Yeah, Bears working into position.
Now, Impact doesn't have anybody on the Snake side except for, I believe, Dalton in that corner.
Carl, body coming off right now for the Bears from that D side. They have Caputo at a really good spot. And Sakaguchi in there with him as well, too, who's at the wedge structure. Mirrored up with Laval. Not quite mirrored up. Laval's in a little bit better position. Now Impact making a move into D1.
So
4-on-5 here, Carl.
Right now, I think it's in the hands of the Bears player in the 50 Snake. He has to get a kill and a kill quick in order to turn this field around. If anything, the guy in front of him, so at least the lane opens up to where they can start getting down the field on the opposite side.
Dalton Vanderbilt making a move into D3. New pickup here for Impact this year. He's in a good spot, shooting that crossfield lane. I'm wondering, yeah, he knows that Caputo's in there, so because he's pumping paint right on the edge of that spot. Yakimak's going to improve his position. He's going to get to the tower. Axel goes out wide. Snake side back corner bunker. Sakaguchi's going to crawl up to mirror up with the ball. Ooh, another body coming off for the Bears as Frank takes the walk. Only 3 bodies left alive for them. Down to a minute here. But this is right into, this is Impact right here. Impact with an advantage. They're up a point, up multiple bodies. Dalton's going to try to close the door. He's going to get the shot on Sakaguchi. He gets a little 2-pack here, actually. Gets a shot on Scotty Graham.
Dalton shoots both guys coming into the 50 Snake.
Yeah, I think Dalton just closed that out with a 3-pack to put the coffin nail in this match and send the Brooklyn Bears with the loss in this one. So the Bears lose both their games today. They go 2-2 and going to have to count points. Now, both their losses were by 1. They lost in overtime to Notorious. Sorry, this is going to be a loss by 2, as it will be 3-1 will be the score. I think that will be enough. I think that's going to be enough to put the Bears on. But that's someone else's job. If you guys have already done the math, hit me up.
Good for you.
And you have my number, hit me up.
Dalton did a signature move pod kick at the end of that point.
Oh, that's his signature celebration, the 6L?
I think so. I think he should embrace it. I think the lid of the pod went further than the pod itself.
Thumbs up from the ref. A point is good here. Edmonton Impact undefeated so far here in this tournament. 4 wins for Edmonton Impact. Yesterday they beat ML Kings. They beat Notorious. And then today taking down Level and taking down the Bears to go 4-0 and be a favorite yet again here at this first event. Running 2 lines, and this is always Dave Baines's. It's a struggle. It's a good struggle to have, but now he's going to go into Sunday and he has to make the decision. Do I run 2 lines? Do I figure out a hybrid line? Do I just go with which line I think is playing better? What are you going to do if you're Dave Baines? And that's always kind of his discussion he has to have with him and Bart and the rest of the team as they head into Sunday's competition.
I mean, what has worked for you? I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. What has worked for you up to this point to where you have the record that you have? And I think we've seen Sunday Paintball already.
Oh, yeah.
The way it's going to go.
Sunday Paintball. We were Sunday Paintball two sets into Friday. Yeah, 2 points into Friday. Minor penalty assessed. Couldn't see who it was. But Harris Hussein walking off with, I think, Kirill Peridny. Karslev back into the wedge, but Infamous with an extension early up the field, taking that real estate to the 50-yard line at that brick, and with a 5-on-3 situation, hoping to extend their lead. Now, if you're Infamous, Carl, you don't want to speed this one up. You have a big advantage. You have 2 extra bodies. Slow it down. Obviously get the point, but try to burn a couple minutes off the clock. So,
yeah,
because the clock is not Legion's friend right now as they are down.
I think Infamous, though, is also trying to take advantage of, right now, Russians got a penalty. So they're trying to take advantage of that. Whereas, they could be starting with 5 the next point. So it's like kind of take advantage of, there you go, and then concede from the Russians. So my thing with this whole field has always been pressure.
Yeah.
A little bit of pressure, a little bit more pressure, a little bit more pressure. And if you do that, I mean, even if the pressure is getting into these spots and then crossing up, I mean, that's pressuring the other team to, hey, come get me out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of those teams, they'll go up by 2 or they'll go up by 3 and do that. But getting that pressure is being up in these spots and being crossed. So, I mean, pressure on either side is going to, however you play that, is going to be offensive and being in these spots.
And don't shoot your own guys.
Please don't shoot your own guys.
I felt so bad for you in that one point. You start there, I'm like, oh, here comes Carl Markowski. You take 1 step out, it gets smoked. Who shot you?
I don't know. Danny says he didn't shoot me, but the thing is,
I'm almost
they're
positive.
like, well,
I'm almost positive you got.
Well, they're like, it was
guys.
probably the kid who ran to the corner and wrapped the corner and shot me. I was like, I got shot in the back of my armpit.
There's no way. That did not happen. I watched, as you know, we played together for years, and I'm like, okay, Carl's out there. Let me, because you're real fast. I like watching you play paintball, run all over the place. So I'm like, oh, here comes Carl. And I'm watching, so out of all, there's 10 players out there, I'm watching you on the run out, and you take a step and a half, and all of a sudden I can see the paint burst off you from behind, and then you kind of almost like flinch a little bit as you get into your spot, looking behind me like, did somebody?
It was really that going through my, I was like, did that really just
fucking happen? Yeah, I'm sorry. No, it's all good. I would have thought the same thing. 1000%, whoever was behind you shot you. I'm absolutely positive that that's what happened. I mean, unless God himself shot you, or the only other thing I could possibly think it was off some weird bounce shot. But the way the paint sprayed off and the velocity and like the way you kind of felt it, I'm like, there's no way that wasn't his own guy. It was for sure one of your guys.
Because the way I'm shooting, and even the bunker that I was shooting on the field wasn't that much of an angle to where even if I was like this, getting shot in the back.
It was a step and a half out. You were shot on a step and a half out of your spot.
Big move from the Russian Legion, getting into Snake 1 off the break, and a body coming off for Infamous. Also, Russians making it into the center 50, really trying to get a quick point here and kind of get the momentum back on their side.
Yeah, down by 2. Still a decent amount of time. It's just, I say a decent amount of time with an asterisk on this field because you just never know when a 6-minute point's going to pop off.
It's a point-by-point basis. Looks like Zach Patient in the tower is now having some loader issues or some paint issues right now. Which is not good when you want your attacker to go make something happen.
Carl Brusselback taking the walk from the back corner bunker for Infamous on the D side.
Russians also spreading the field over on the Dorito side. I believe that's Kirill getting into the small Dorito.
I think that's Silberg taking the walk right now for Infamous. Is just bodies are dropping all over the place. They're losing a ton of gunfights right now. So Legion gonna be pulling within 1 with a pretty quick point. And again, the coach was not able to make it over for Legion. They picked up a bunch of new guys. They're kind of centered out of Florida now. No Smotroff, no Jason Burns. And they've been dealing with this for a while.
I saw a sign that somebody had. It was like a Russian sign going through the venue area that said, "We need coach." And I'm glad that they found a coach coming through.
Are you being jokester, Carl, right now? Or that's serious. I can't tell sometimes. You're like my dad. I don't know. Are you being serious right now, or are you messing with me?
That's great. I mean, it's really fighting through adversity right now with the Russians, with the roster issue, the coach issue, and really having and playing with new guys. I mean, it's so tough trying to get everybody on the same page, especially at a tournament, and having it all flow and everybody produce.
Yeah. It's, I mean, you know this. You've been on multiple teams, top-level squads before, and it's really difficult. You know, it's incredibly hard. I mean, look at Diesel. You know, Diesel has now dropped 2 games. They lost to the Hurricanes.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, so they lost to the Ironmen yesterday. They lost to the Hurricanes today, and they have 1 more game left to go, and it's against Houston Heat. So if they can't find a way to beat Houston Heat, because they put up some points against Revo, and they beat Revo.
Yeah.
If they can't beat Houston Heat, now they weren't losing any of their games big.
What's Heat's record?
Heat is undefeated, but they have 2 games today. They play Revo and they play Diesel. That's the bracket of death. Heat, Revo, Hurricanes, Diesel, and the Ironmen.
That's good matchups.
Yeah.
Really good matchups.
Yeah, we got some good ones coming up. After this one, we got Heat, Diesel, Revo, Ironman, and then Dynasty, Infamous, X Factor, Saints. And then Heat and Revo, Hurricanes, Ironman, and then Dynasty, X Factor, and then Legion and Saints. So we kind of have a full, as we conclude the prelims and figure out who's going to be making it on a Sunday. Yeah, it's going to get interesting, as it always does.
Yeah.
It always gets interesting. It's at what level is it interesting? Like, how difficult is it going to be? How many teams are going to be at 2-2?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because when a couple teams dominate in their division, it makes it pretty glaringly apparent. Okay, these are the best teams. This is who's moving on. But when it's very contentious,
yeah.
And Infamous is playing aggressive.
Is that Silberg?
Infamous is playing aggressive. Infamous is taking ground, taking a page out of Pat Kraft in New York Extreme's book. Man, Pat Kraft was relentless. Out of all the guys I've seen play the center, Pat Kraft played the best so far in the prelims.
Yeah, he was definitely going to work up the middle. I believe it's Silberg for Infamous going all the way to the 50. Did he recognize that Bunker got bumped?
I'm still getting used to seeing Sam in Infamous gear, so
yeah, me too.
It's going to take me a little bit of time.
yeah.
We need him to have like some distinctive head wrap or, you know, like a very definitive gun, something that pops out.
Get on that, Sam.
Yeah, if you could just make our jobs easier, Sam, that'd be great.
A nice H2K sticker on the side.
Yeah, there you go. So the battle developing here in the center of the field. We haven't seen this much, actually, Carl. Here on your screen, you see Infamous and Legion both with a body at that 50 brick. So who's going to be the one to prevail? Who's going to be the first to go?
I don't think Infamous knows that the 50's hot, and vice versa.
Looks like Sam is going to come around, so he's the first to go. It does cost him his body, but that guy needed to die. And then here comes Karslev. Karslev with the counterattack after he was able to protect. Not completely protect, but
Protect enough.
yeah, well, I mean, was able to at least get the shot on. I think we're thinking that, Sam.
I'm pretty sure it's Sam. Yeah. Callie over on the wedge on the D side, trying to hold Kirill, I believe that is on the D side, but Kirill making bumps into D3 now.
Yeah, gets into D3. Great spot over there, and it's going to help out Karslev at the 50. We'd like to see McDarby here get up into Snake 1. McDarby talking it up to Harris Hussein. Harris Hussein get another spin, staying alive.
I mean, that's a lot of trust in Harris too, with them being behind and needing these points. I mean, and he's staying alive.
Yeah, it's just Legion doesn't have I mean, they from their core roster. I mean, they have Sergey, they have obviously Kirill, and then they have Karslev. But that's it from the roster. I mean, Cozy Reb's now on the Revo. So it looks like Harris comes off, Karslev comes off. Kirill's still alive. Kirill gets peeled out, so Legion getting on the attack, but Infamous chews him up. I think McDarby, yeah, McDarby's still alive. Outside wide, Snake 50. But Infamous is, man, Infamous is looking good. You know, the Legion had ground, and McDarby forced him to attack to retreat, but gonna get saved some pain with the concession. Giving Infamous a 2-point cushion here. And because of all the long points in the Impact Bears game, 2 minutes in between points.
What was the time left on that after that point? Like
I didn't get it. I was looking at McDarby. So 5:54. So still a decent amount of time. Thank you, Booth.
Great job, Booth, by the way. You guys are doing a great job in there.
Crushing it. So how's HUK going? How are the tank tools?
Good. Awesome, man. Everybody who has picked one up, thank you very much. And I've had a lot of really good feedback on everybody that's been using it. And some people say it's the sound of defeat. But
that's a good one.
Everybody has
so true.
I don't want it to be that because everybody has to go home eventually.
You should put that. You should laser engrave that on. So, just as a reminder, like I don't want to degas my gun until the finals are over when we hoist the trophy.
That is, yeah, that's hopefully the situation that you're in. But no, everybody's had really good feedback on it. You know, a lot of people have been using it and enjoying it. So
just real quick for people at home, guys, if you're just watching, you don't play tournament paintball, you can't fly with a compressed air tank full of air. So everyone has to dump their tanks after you're done. And so you know when a team's out, when you're walking past their pits and they got their gear off and there's 5 or 6 tanks all degassing at the same time, meaning like, all right, that's the sound of concession right
No
there.
more paintball.
That's the sound of defeat. That's really good. Who said that? That's genius.
A few people.
Yeah, but it's super useful. It's one of those things that when you told me about it, I'm like, wow, it's just so obvious. I'm surprised no one thought of it before. So thank you, Carl Markowski, with the genius little tank tool. Yeah, so it degasses your gun. It keeps the O-rings on there. It also can take the regulator off.
Yeah, you can takes regulator off. Certain burst discs you can take off. But yeah, check it out, hukpaintball.com.
So you don't have to use the trailer hitch on a truck anymore.
Or a picnic table.
Yeah.
Which I've used
or the
multiple
guy, or
times.
the guy with the heaviest amount of grip strength on your team. So jumping back into this next one, 2 points separate these two squads. Yeah, heading up to 5:30 left, but Infamous in the driver's seat, looking real calm and composed out here, playing aggressive. It really looked like they dialed in some game plans. Yesterday they were able to defeat the Saints, but then they lost by 2 to X Factor. So yeah, they need a win.
Sammy back up in that center 50. I mean, that's huge too because that really slows down the push on that Snake side. And it's an easy, no, I don't want to say easy, but it's a fairly generally easy bunker to get to.
Kind of easy.
Because
easier.
everything's so big, just getting up there. I mean, you pick a good route, and they got to dig you out, and that's one less body working its way forward on the Snake side, and now having to go into the middle and worry about you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I talk with my hands a lot. I don't know.
You're very you gesture quite a bit. Me too, bro. So I'm with you on that. Can't help myself.
Makes it more important.
So Infamous with double stack. They do lose a body from the backfield, but Infamous still with some penetration here on the real estate. Legion with Malloy. He's been very effective from that wedge position. Body behind, 2 bodies behind him. And then a body at that can. And then here's going to go a little outside movement from Karslev. He's going to get into D2.
It's a good move on his part, I feel.
Yeah, that is a good. That's going to get that outside and forward. Well, outside progression now it sets him up to have some forward progression to get into D3. And then Karslev, sure enough, goes right into D3 there on the left-hand side of your screen.
Oh, he missed the shot. Zach Patient missed the shot. I mean, it's a tight gap though. So it's like you have to kind of just constantly have paint there to shoot him. But he was, bless you, he was able to get through that lane, and now Karslev up in D4.
Karslev's screaming bloody murder. He wants to get a check, and he does end up getting the shot on Patience. A nice job by Pavel Karslev.
Oh,
Again, that's one of the core members of this team. But he's going to get taken out of there. Malloy coming through. And Sergey threading down the field with Kirill Pridny.
Malloy is so good at reaction paintball and like just going off of instinct and really finding those seams to go through and catch a guy when he's not looking.
Legion staying in this match, only down by 1. Yeah, Malloy is elite. He's a former Golden Gun Award winner, meaning you were the best player of the year
Ever.
of all 200 pro players that exist in the pro division. I mean, and with some of these teams stacking up with 12. I mean, there's some teams with 7, but yeah, there's about 200 pro players out there. And Malloy is so good for so long that, New York Extreme started calling him the bar, as in he has set the bar, and that's how good we're trying to get to.
Do you remember when he was Baby Russia?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, Malloy, I think it means in Russian, like, it's like Nino in Spanish, means like little boy, because when he came up, he was all, he's a man of small stature, but he's such a beast out there. It's almost like calling a bald guy curly, or like a big guy slim, because he has become such a beast.
Well, look at a lot of the greats in the game, man. You have Malloy, who's a smaller guy. You have God, I can't think of his name. X Factor Archie, smaller guy, really great at paintball.
I mean, it helps that if you're hey, the smaller and faster you are, the easier paintball becomes. So
yeah, except if you want to jump shot over something, that makes it a little difficult.
Yeah, or play over these big bricks that they put out there now.
Yes.
I mean, you need to be legit, probably I think about 6'1", 6'2" to play the brick efficiently.
Yeah. Yeah, the full effect,
Yeah.
have the full range of possibilities.
How tall are you? 5'11"? Yeah. Can you play over the brick?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I could look over. I'm like tippy
On
toes.
tippy toes? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They won't let me blind fires.
Well, we were walking the field, and it was kind of hot out here, and there was a lot of air in it. So there's that big poof in the middle. But Tyler Harmon goes up. Tyler Harmon's 6'3", and he was like, "Man, this brick's pretty. I hope it's not blowing up this big when the game starts."
Big point right now.
Yeah, 1 point match right now with 3 minutes and 21 seconds left to go, and then they're going to make that big move again. Infamous is relentless, and they shoot a body off that break as well. So Infamous really dictating the pace on the offense. They're going to get a shot on Kirill as well out of the backfield, and that puts the Legion in a really tough spot because now they are forced to concede. Malloy turns around thinking like, wait, is that us? Did we just have to concede? They gave McDarby another spin, but with 5 bodies alive, it was a 5-on-3 situation. Yeah, I mean, everyone's confused. Wait, was it a concession or was it not?
Was it a dead man's walk?
The referee is coming over here. Do we have a dead man's walk? No way. We haven't seen a dead man's walk in pro paintball in a decade. Yeah, Infamous is yelling about something.
Maybe Kirill is... Did they get a penalty and Kirill's wondering why? Because it was like a pack hit or something?
Well, we're going to have the commissioner figure it out.
The commish.
Well, Diego is the one that... So maybe Diego tried a dead man's walk? I mean, he comes over. He's like, I don't have any hits on me. Did he just walk down the field and shoot everyone in the back?
And ref comes over and points right at his inner forearm and says, hey, that's where you got shot, bud.
Yeah, I mean, I looked over at, I was looking at the Legion side of the field, and all of a sudden the point was conceded. I'm like, yeah, okay, 5-on-3, running out of time, maybe a little bit early on the horn, but not by much, and I mean, made sense. And I look over, and everyone's all looking confused, and Infamous was pointing over at Diego. Well, it wouldn't be a paintball tournament if it wasn't a little chaotic and confusing at some point, right, Carl?
Everybody's such an honest paintball player. I don't even know why we have referees out there.
Yeah, it's just the extra expenditure of capital. No, I mean, if anyone needs to be a ref, it's all these pros out here.
Can you believe? Well, yeah, you can probably believe, but I can't believe that you guys used to ref yourselves back in the day.
Yeah, we had 5 events a year, and you would have to ref one. But I'll tell you what.
Kept everybody honest, I bet, though.
Yeah, because if you wanted to, make a bad call intentionally on a team, then they would, get you at that next event.
That next event.
Yeah, and everyone was always really kind to Ground Zero because Ground Zero would ref World Cup.
That was going to be my next question. Is like, why would you just hope? Like, was it a volunteer thing to be like, hey, we'll volunteer to ref World Cup, or was it kind of just
no? Because the way that the structure of professional paintball worked back in the day is that you had, when the very first MPPL. It's a long story, but you had the guys that ran the teams.
We have time.
Yeah, as they try to figure this out. You're right, Carl. We do have time. So the guys that ran the big teams, so you had Dave Youngblood and the Ironman out in California, and then you had Rennick Miller and Aftershock, and then you had Jerry Braun and Ground Zero and the All-Americans. And so essentially all the top teams made this kind of deal with each other, is that the 5 events would all be run by an organizer. All the organizers together were the NPPL. This is back in the early 90s. And then so the guys that played on those top teams would ref that event. And so it kind of assured an even playing field. But if you ref that event, then you would get seeding points like you won the event. Yeah, so I'm getting some information from the booth. Let's hope they got some clarity. So it was an attempt at a dead man's walk. You crafty player, you, Diego. Haven't seen an attempted dead man's walk in forever. You know what that means, though, Diego? That means you're going to wear bonus balls for years. Everyone is, if they see you walking around, you're going to get shot a bunch.
And if you don't know, a dead man's walk is when you just walk leisurely down the field,
pretending you're dead,
like you're eliminated, but you don't put your marker or anything or your hand up in the air, like you call yourself out. Leisurely walk down and tap their buzzer.
Yeah. So, but he had a hit on him. And so Legion will be playing down a body here. Interesting turn of events.
Down a body.
Just when you think you've seen it all, Carl. So a 2-point spread right now with 3 minutes to go, and an aggressive break for Legion. They do lose Kirill off the break. From the backfield, they're going to lose Malloy as well, too, and they might be losing. Yeah, they are. So a bunch of deaths coming very quickly here for Legion. That's going to force another quick concession. Going to pad the margin for Infamous. Going to take their score to 6.
Which one?
So we have the legend Patrick Spora here, who created such paintball classics as Push and Sunday Drivers and Serial Killers, Heroes for a Day, Serial Killers 2, etc.
Just to name a few.
But he's requesting a Mikey Bruno story. So, again, a little story from back in the day. Mikey Bruno, he walked a field playing for Aftershock in Boston one year, and there was a swamp next to the field, and he decided that he would, he could just go through the swamp out of bounds, emerge behind the All-Americans.
In their camo.
And he also went and bought their own camouflage, put it on. He went through the swamp, emerged, shot everyone in the back, got like 8 kills. The refs couldn't figure out what happened, so they awarded. He had said he was covered in mud up to his chest and completely wet after hiking through the swamp, and then he disavowed any knowledge of said move. The refs couldn't prove it, so Aftershock got the win, and then he lit their camouflage on fire in front of their staging area. That's how it used to go back in the day. We've come a long way, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go, Pat. True story. I was there for that. I didn't see it happen, but Mikey did tell me the story later on. So
I love Mikey.
Well, there used to be, talk about rivalries between teams. It got a little heated back then.
Who do you think is a big rivalry today?
There's lots of rivalries, but as far as like if we see you off the field, we're going to fight you type rivalries, we don't have anything that hardcore. But there's still, all the top teams have, especially with how crazy it's gotten behind the scenes. I would say there's got to be a rivalry right now between Level and Infamous. Pando had a clearance sale of all the Infamous gear out of his store after they stole Sam Silver's.
He did well. He did well with the Infamous gear. Now you got a bunch of people at Level Up that wears Infamous stuff now.
Yeah, it was almost like free advertising for Pro DNA. Jonah Jamrose and Infamous just continues their aggressive onslaught up the field. Jonah getting to Snake 1. They send, I think, maybe Sam up into that 50 brick.
Everybody really producing right now for Infamous, and everybody's doing their jobs well. Everybody's been making. I mean, a lot of their front guys have been making their spots, and as I say that, Callie takes one. But and I think that brings it to a 4-on-4.
Yeah, it does appear to be a 4-on-4 situation, and only 2 minutes and 18 seconds left to go. Legion
4-on-3.
Legion needs this one here.
Oh no! Oh no!
Use your words, Carl.
Oh, it's
Minor penalty.
on
Assessed on
Sam.
Infamous. Yeah, so Infamous looking pretty good here, but it looks like Sam's coming off. They have who else is coming off? Because I see a Legion player walking off. Brusselback is walking off as well too.
1-on-1 or 1-on-any?
Definitely 2 bodies still left alive for Infamous, as Joe Barrett's in the backfield and then Jonah Jamrose. So that's a pretty solid 1-2 combo of Joe who can hold the line here for Jonah to try to burn this clock off and take this 3-point win, or hopefully put another point on the board. So they're going to see a concession actually from Legion.
Sometimes I have so much going through my brain that I want to say that nothing comes out.
So Infamous putting up 7 points. That's the most points we've seen any team score out here. Dynasty put up 6 yesterday against the Latin Saints in a complete shutout Mercy Rule win. We're not quite there for Infamous yet, but this is looking really good to punch their ticket on to Sunday. Infamous does, and the reason why is because the next game they have to play is against Dynasty. So they're in a pretty tough bracket as well, too. I think Bracket B is the bracket of death, the most difficult bracket. And Bracket A is Dynasty, X Factor, Legion, Infamous, and Saints.
I mean, some of those are the scariest games that you're going into because you got a team that really has nothing to lose, and they're going to pull all the tricks that they have on this field out just to try and see if they can work. And yeah, a lot of those times, man, it's close games.
Yeah, it's also as we get into this stage of the game, if you are a team that's on the bubble and you're playing a team that's out already and they have nothing to lose, that's always a tough team to play because they're just going to play with some mental freedom.
Yeah.
Or you would hope that they would, and then try to play the spoiler. So
In the Infamous pits right now.
yeah, and I mean they're still treating this like it's 0-0 because they want to stack the score up as much as they possibly can. Again, they have to play Dynasty next up. Also, we will be awarding the Golden Barrel Top Gun Award to the MVP of the overall tournament, and it's provided by Carbon Paintball. Head to carbonpaintball.com. Check out their sponsorship program. It's a little bit more diverse. They also got custom jerseys for $20. Not total, but to customize it, it's around $20.
Yeah, I can't believe that barrel's 24 karat gold solid. It's so insane.
It's actually 18. But,
well.
I mean, whatever. We're splitting hairs.
Good on Carbon, too, for doing something like that.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique prize.
Still trying to earn mine.
One of these days, Carl. One of these days. I mean,
Maybe one day when I become a little more established professional
yeah,
paintball
still
player.
established. We just need to get you to make practice, bro.
There you go. Tell American Airlines to stop canceling flights when there's an ice storm in Detroit.
It's so crazy. I feel so bad. I mean, obviously I travel around a lot too, but everyone that has to travel quite a bit just been brutal since COVID, essentially.
Yeah.
I was talking to Nick Ripple, who's coming over from Europe playing with the Hurricanes, and I was like, how was that first practice, man? You got out there, right? He's like, yeah, it took me 25 hours to get there, though. 2 canceled flights.
I was able to drive down a level up, though, and practice with the semi-pro guys and get a decent amount of reps down there. So I got on the field, was able to see it, was able to play it.
Nice.
Got a really good feel of how it was going to play out. So.
Well, the season's long, so we got 4 more events. Can't wait to see you out there.
Yeah, same. I mean, on the field.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see you here in my presence, but I'm still a fan of you playing, so I'd like to see you playing.
Yes.
But, you do got to make practice to do that sometimes.
It does help.
Stupid American Airlines. All right, jumping back into this one here. Down by 4, Legion going to fight for margin as well, too, but only 1 minute and 16 seconds left to work with, so maybe they can get 1 more. On this layout, it's going to be real tough to get 2 with that amount of time left. But they are triple stacking the center and punching up. And as Infamous, you can see, we're looking over their shoulders. They're doubling up that back center, just putting a flood of paintballs downfield. Looks like they're going to be losing a body, though, as Ryan Hall is going to be coming off. Legion's stacking up on the 50s, but the hard part of the push is getting past the 50s. Getting to the 50s is one thing. Getting past them is a completely different story. They're slightly past the 50 here in the Snake, but still 4 bodies that they're looking at here. And then now they just peeled off another one. Brusselback taking the walk from the can. And it looks like they're going to lose Malloy. Legion on their toes with 2 bodies here pushing forward. Looks like Karslev might have got... No, Karslev's still alive. Ooh, with 24 seconds left, the bend don't break moment as Joe Barrett hits the afterburners, and he's going to run in. Let the time expire, Joe.
Wow.
You're not going to be able to get another point.
He had 3 guys shooting at him. What just happened? What just happened?
What happened is the Legion just ran forward into Joe Barrett's gun, and he was just slaughtering people, and then very quickly recognized, counting the bodies quickly, that all 5 were dead, and then showing his speed, gets there, going to wait for the time to expire or get down to about 4 seconds before he hits it. And,
wow.
But it looks like they conceded the point around 12 seconds, 13 seconds left. So 8 points scored, man. That is that's a lot of points to put up on this field. Because both teams wanted to play aggressive.
Yeah, yeah. And Joe is such a good clutch player. I mean, he's been playing for a while now, and he's played for teams like Damage, Aftermath, and now finding a home in Infamous. He's one of those players, man. He'll be up in the mix, but at the end of the game, man, he can definitely pull some stuff out.
Yeah, he showed his versatility. He's one of those guys too that kind of cut his teeth traveling around playing all over.
Yeah.
He'd go down to Latin America, play there, travel to Europe, play there. And
yeah.
If you're an up-and-coming divisional player, make some friends and try to get in with the squad in Australia, or I know this sounds like a pipe dream, but this is absolutely possible. It's been done by guys like Joe Barrett, Harrison Fry.
Sell your belongings.
Yeah, but they, because these a lot of these foreign teams, they'll have, just like teams in the States, they'll have, some money person, guy that's successful, or girl that's successful in business, and they'll be willing to fly you out. Mm-hmm. If you're good enough, and because it's going to give them a better chance to prevail in that situation. So Joe made friends, Harrison made friends, and they just played all the time. They were playing in 3-4 different leagues.
Reps and reps.
And they just get reps and reps and reps, and it starts to show. And so he's so versatile because he proved on Aftermath that he can be a brutalizer in the center, and then now on Infamous he's playing a little bit more of a support position because they already have a decent amount of front players. Mm-hmm. And so on this layout it just worked out that way. But yeah, it's a good pickup for Infamous. Because they lose Cody, so they need another guy that can kind of play that role. They have a couple players, actually, that can play the role that Cody played, but Cody's so good.
Mm-hmm.
So on the breakout, just 12 seconds, probably the last point. Legion's going to give it a good old try, as Harris Hussein's going to run past the 50. He's going to get stitched up. And that is going to do it. So Legion's going to take a loss, 8-3, the final score. And in case you forgot, long ago, Impact defeated the Bears here in this set. So next up is going to be Houston Heat and Diesel, Revo, and the Ironmen. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, as it's got a little crazy here on Saturday, trying to figure out who's going to be making it on as we cut the league in half. Only 10 move on to Sunday. Carl Markowski, thank you so much. Always a pleasure to see you.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Best of luck at the next event. And we'll see you guys in just a few here. 2023 NXL Sunshine State Major. Still 4 more sets to go in the prelims. We'll be right back.